never thought silence could be mistaken for emptiness, but that was the word my wife used for me long before she stopped looking at me the same way. I am not loud. I am not dramatic. I believed love lived in routine, in showing up, in fixing what was broken without being asked. Why don't you ever say anything? Emily asked one night. I looked up from the table. About what? About us, she said. About me. I show it, I replied. I'm here. She laughed, not kindly. That's exactly what I mean. We had been married 7 years. I remembered telling her once, words fail me, but I won't. She smiled back then. She used to say she liked how steady I was. That night, she didn't smile. You're cold, she said, pushing her plate away. You don't feel things like normal people. I felt everything. I just didn't know how to release it safely. I feel, I said quietly. When? She asked. When do you ever feel? I wanted to say always. I wanted to say I carried her moods, her worries, her fears. Instead, I stayed still. Silence had kept me safe growing up. Silence meant survival. My father used to say, strong men don't talk. They endure. I learned early that calm stopped chaos. I learned that speaking invited consequences. Emily stared at me. See, you don't even fight for me. I don't want to fight, I said. I want passion, she snapped. I want someone who reacts. That was when she mentioned Daniel again. He listens, she said. He notices when I'm sad. Daniel? I asked. Yes, she replied too fast. An old friend. He texts a lot, I said. So, she said. At least he asks how I feel. I told myself jealousy was childish. Trust meant silence. Love meant not questioning. I trust you, I said. Her eyes flickered. You shouldn't confuse trust with indifference. I'm not indifferent, I said. Then prove it, she said. How? I asked. She sighed. See, you don't even know. The room felt smaller. My chest felt tight. I wanted to grab her hands and beg her to stay, but begging wasn't in me. I believed love didn't need performance. I love you, I said. She shook her head. You say that like it's a fact, not a feeling. It is a fact, I said. That's the problem, she replied. You're emotionless. The word cut deeper than she knew. I watched her walk away, carrying disappointment like a verdict. I sat alone, telling myself this was normal. Marriages had rough nights. But something inside me cracked quietly, and I felt it even then. I stayed at the table until the food went cold. My phone buzzed. Are you coming to bed? She asked from the hallway. In a minute, I said. You always say that, she replied. I didn't answer. Later, she said, Daniel thinks I should leave for a while. My throat tightened. Did you ask him that? No, she said. He just understands me. I understand you, I said. She paused. You think you do. What do you want from me? I asked. I want you to feel something, she said. Anything. I feel scared right now, I said. She didn't respond. That scared me more. You don't have to be strong all the time, she finally said. I don't know how to stop, I admitted. She sighed again. That's what I mean. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. I love you, I said again, softer this time. Good night, she replied. I sat there, listening to the silence I trusted too much. I told myself tomorrow I would speak. Tomorrow, I would try. But deep down, I already knew she had stopped waiting. I stared at my hands. They were steady. They had always been. I wondered if steadiness was just another word for being left behind. Outside, a car passed. Somewhere, she texted him. I felt it without proof. I should have said more. I whispered to no one. The silence didn't answer. Still, I believed love would endure without constant proof. I didn't know yet that belief was already breaking. I breathed in. I breathed out. The man she said I was stared back at me from the dark window. He looked calm. He looked empty. I didn't know then how wrong that was. I felt everything. And one day she would learn that silence was never the same as nothing. I came home early that day because the office lights flickered and my chest felt wrong. I thought seeing Emily would steady me. The house was quiet, too quiet. Her shoes were by the door. She was home. I heard her voice before I saw her. She was on the phone. She laughed softly. I stopped walking. I did not mean to listen. My name came first. "He's so distant," Emily said. I leaned against the wall. My heart slowed. "I tried," she continued. "I really did." I waited for her to defend me. She didn't. "He doesn't feel," she said. My hands went cold. "I feel invisible," she whispered. Someone else breathed on the line. I knew without hearing the name. "You deserve more," a man said. "Daniel." The floor creaked under my foot. Emily turned. Her eyes widened, then settled. She didn't hang up. "I'll call you back," she said. She ended the call. The silence felt final. "How long?" I asked. She crossed her arms. "Does it matter?" "It does to me," I said. She sighed. "I didn't plan this," she said. "But he understands me." I nodded slowly. "And I never did." I asked. She looked away. "You were there," she said. "He listens." The words landed hard. "Listening is love," she added. I felt nothing and everything. "When were you going to tell me?" I asked. "Tonight," she said. "After he helped me decide." My throat closed. "So that's it." I asked. "I'm leaving," she said. "I can't live like this." I waited for tears. None came. She walked past me. A suitcase rolled behind her. I followed her to the door. "Emily," I said. She paused. "I loved you the only way I knew how," I said. She didn't turn. "That wasn't enough," she replied. The door closed softly. No slam. No anger. Just absence. I stood there for a long time. I replayed every quiet moment. Every word I swallowed. I sat on the floor. I didn't cry. I felt erased. My marriage ended without a sound. I whispered her name. Nothing answered. "You could have fought," I told myself. "You could have begged." I pressed my palms together. "She wanted noise," I said. I gave her silence. I looked at the empty doorway. Daniel's voice echoed in my head. "You deserve more." I laughed once. It sounded broken. I stood and walked to the bedroom. Her closet was half empty. She had planned this. "You were never surprised," I said aloud. I lay on the bed alone. My phone buzzed. It was a message from her. "I'm sorry," she wrote. I stared at the screen. I typed nothing. I turned the phone face down. The ceiling fan hummed. I counted each breath. One life ended. Another waited. I didn't know who I was without her. I only knew I had been replaced. "He can have you," I whispered. My voice shook. "I won't chase." The words felt hollow. I closed my eyes. I saw her leaving again. I felt the moment break me. This was the day my marriage collapsed. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I stayed still. Stillness had always been my shield. That night, it failed me. I sat up and spoke to the dark. "You lost her," I said, "because you never learned how to shout." My chest ached. I wanted to call her. I wanted to ask why. I didn't. I let the silence answer for her. It said she was gone. I lay back down. I stared until morning came. The man she loved was already over. I was the one left behind. The sun crept through the window. I didn't move. I heard the world continue. "Get up," I told myself. "This is real." I swung my feet to the floor. The house felt chushed. Foreign. I walked to the kitchen. Her mug sat by the sink. I pushed it aside. "You chose," I said softly. I washed my face. I looked older. My marriage was gone. My life was not. I breathed in deeply. I stood alone in the wreckage. This was the beginning. I didn't know it yet. I only knew something inside me had died. Something else waited to be born. I wiped my face. I picked up my keys. Keep breathing, I told myself. I stepped outside. The door closed behind me. I didn't look back. The man I was had ended. The man I would become didn't exist yet. But this pain would shape him. I walked into the morning alone. I carried betrayal in my chest. I carried silence like a wound. This was the day everything broke, and nothing would ever be the same. I stood there, finally feeling everything. Too late. For us. For me. Forever. It ended. I woke up to silence and checked my phone like it might apologize. It didn't. I stared at the ceiling and said, "Get up." My voice sounded empty. At work, Mark noticed first. "You look like hell," he said. "I slept," I replied. "Liar," he said. "She leave?" "Yes," I said. He nodded once. "Good." I laughed. "That's not helpful." "It is," he said. "You just don't see it yet." During lunch he said, "You eat." "I forget," I said. "Then eat," he said. "Pain doesn't excuse neglect." I didn't argue. Mark never softened things. That's why I didn't break in front of him. That night my phone rang. "I'm sorry," Sarah said. "Emily's sister," I replied. "Yes," she said. "I shouldn't call." "You already did," I said. She hesitated. "She didn't mean to hurt you." "She did," I said. Silence followed. Then she whispered, "She moved in with him." The words burned. "How long?" I asked. "A week," she said. "I thought you should know." "I appreciate honesty," I said. "You always were," she replied. After the call, I sat alone and replayed memories. "I stayed late for you," I said to the room. "I paid your debts." I listened. No one answered. Sleep didn't come. When it did, I woke shaking. "You're fine," I told myself. "You're just empty." At work, Mark said, "You thinking about revenge?" "No," I said. "I'm thinking about disappearing." "Don't," he said. "That's losing." "I already lost," I said. "You lost her," he replied. "Not yourself." I didn't believe him yet. Sarah called again. "She's not happy," she said. "I'm not interested," I replied. "She cries," Sarah said. "Good," I said, then paused. "No, that's not what I mean." "I know," she said. "I'm sorry." That night I stood in the shower and said, "What was wrong with me?" I heard Emily's voice. "You never fight." I clenched my fists. "I fought quietly," I said. I remembered every sacrifice, every calm moment. "I chose peace," I whispered. "You chose noise." The anger surprised me. It felt sharp, alive. "I won't beg," I said aloud. "I won't explain again." Mark texted, "Drinks?" "No," I replied. "Thinking." "Dangerous hobby," he wrote. I smiled for the first time. Before sleep, I said, "She chose him." The words hurt less when repeated. She chose him. I didn't plan revenge. I planned survival. I promised myself one thing. I won't chase someone who walked away. In the dark, I finally understood. I wasn't gone. I was stripped. And something angry was waking up. The next morning I stared at my reflection. Was she right? I asked, "Am I broken?" My reflection didn't answer. At work, Mark leaned over. "You blaming yourself?" "Yes," I said. "Stop," he replied. "Two people fail a marriage." "She says I never loved her," I said. He snorted. "She wanted fireworks. You gave shelter." During break I called Sarah. Why did she really leave? I asked. She sighed. "She said you were safe, not exciting." "Safe wasn't enough," I said. "She wanted to feel chosen every day," Sarah replied. "I chose her every day," I said. "I just didn't announce it." "I know," she whispered. "That's why I called." After work, the apartment felt heavier. "You took everything," I said to the walls. "Even my habits." My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. "Hello." He spoke. I didn't mean to hurt you. I froze. Daniel, I said. Yes, he replied. She was unhappy. So you fix that? I asked. He hesitated. I made her feel alive. I laughed. Keep her, I said. I'm done. He didn't respond. I sat down shaking. You don't get to explain, I said. Not to me. That night I dreamed of shouting. I woke angry. Good, I told myself. Anger means I'm still here. I texted Mark. You were right. He replied, About me, I wrote. Sleep finally came, thin but real. Before closing my eyes, I repeated my promise. I won't beg. I won't disappear. I'll survive. The words felt solid. For the first time since she left, I believed them. I turned off the light and whispered, You don't own my future. My chest hurt, but it stayed steady. Tomorrow would come. I would stand. I would work. I would breathe. Loss had taken my name, but it hadn't taken my will yet. I promised myself again, slowly, clearly, without drama, that I would not beg anyone ever again, even if loneliness screamed louder tomorrow. Still, I stopped chasing answers the morning I deleted her name from my search history. I said it out loud. Enough. The word felt heavy but steady. At work, Mark watched me shut down a screen. You stalking ghosts again? He asked. No, I said. I'm done. He stuttered me. That'll hurt. It already does, I replied. I took extra shifts. My body stayed sore. My mind stayed busy. At night the silence still showed up. I see you, I told it. Sit if you want. Sarah called once that week. She's not okay, she said. I'm not her support system, I replied. I know, she said. I just feel wrong. That's yours, I said calmly. I scheduled therapy because sleep wouldn't come. Helen opened the door and said, You look controlled. I've heard that before, I replied. Why are you here? She asked. My wife left, I said. That's an event, she replied. What's the problem? I don't feel heard, I said. She nodded. There it is. I sat forward. She said I was emotionless. Helen replied, Were you? I felt everything, I said. I just didn't perform it. So you were quiet, she said. Not empty. The words loosened something. She wanted noise, I said. She wanted reassurance, Helen replied. You gave consistency. Was that wrong? I asked. No, she said. It was incompatible. At the gym, I pushed until my hand shook. Still here, I told the mirror. A man nearby said, You training for something? Survival, I said. He laughed. Same. Sarah texted again. They're fighting. I'm not celebrating, I replied. I didn't think you would, she said. In therapy, Helen asked, What are you chasing now? Nothing, I said. That's new. Good, she replied. Sit with that. I hate sitting, I said. You're doing it anyway, she said. At work, Mark said, You stopped asking questions. I stopped bleeding, I replied. He nodded. That'll change you. It already has, I said. One night I caught myself opening her profile. I stopped. No, I said. My finger moved away. The urge passed. Helen later asked, What do you hear when it's quiet? My own voice, I said. And what does it say? She asked. That I mattered, I replied. Sarah's last message came late. She regrets things. I don't need regret, I typed. I need space. She didn't reply. I sat alone and breathed. You were never emotionless, I said. You were unheard. The pain stayed, but it didn't chase me anymore. I didn't chase answers either. I chose survival. I chose presence. For the first time, I wasn't running or waiting. I was standing still, listening, and that was enough. Emily texted me on a Tuesday night. Hey, she wrote. I stared at it. I said, No, I locked my phone and sat still. 10 minutes later, Another message came. I hope you're okay. I laughed once and said, I am. I didn't send it. An hour passed. I miss talking to you, she wrote. I turned the phone face down. The next day Mark said, she reach out? Yes, I said. You reply? He asked. No, I said. Good, he replied. Silence answers louder. Sarah called that evening. I shouldn't tell you this, she said. Then don't, I replied. She hesitated. He's not what she thought. I stayed quiet. He still flirts, Sarah said. He avoids commitment. That's not my concern, I replied. I know, she said. I just thought you deserve truth. I already have it, I said. That night Emily sent another message. I didn't realize what I lost. I read it twice. I typed nothing. My chest felt tight. Justice or peace, I whispered. Choose. At work, Mark leaned over. You look conflicted. She regrets it, I said. And? He asked. And I don't know what I want, I replied. You want calm, he said. Not chaos. I nodded. A week later I saw Daniel outside a cafe. He smiled like nothing happened. Hey, he said. Hey, I replied. He shifted. Didn't expect this. Neither did I said. He nodded. She talks about you. That's unfortunate, I replied. He laughed awkwardly. She's emotional. You like that, I said. He shrugged. It's exciting. You remember my name? I asked. He blinked. Of course. Then remember this, I said. You didn't win anything. He frowned. I didn't steal her. You took advantage, I said calmly. He looked bored. She chose. Yes, I said. And you never planned to stay. He said nothing. I realized then he didn't feel guilt. He barely felt interest. My anger faded. This isn't worth noise, I said. I walked away. That night Sarah texted. They're unstable. I'm stable, I replied. Emily sent another message. Can we talk? She asked. No, I whispered, and didn't type it. In therapy, Helen said. What do you feel now? Relief, I said. That's calmer, she replied. Quiet and slow. I slept well for the first time in weeks. I understood something simple. Revenge didn't need my hands. Life was already responding. Emily sent one last message. I wish you'd fight. I said aloud, I already won. I deleted the thread. Karma didn't shout. It whispered. And I finally listened. I wake up early now. I say, move, and my body listens. I run, I shower, I eat. At work, Mark watches me. You look different, he says. I am, I reply. You hiding less, he says. I'm done hiding, I say. He smirks. About time. I call my parents one Sunday. My father answers. You alive? He asks. Yes, I say. My mother takes the phone. You sound stronger, she says. I'm trying, I reply. She pauses. You don't have to be quiet here. I swallow. I know, I say. At dinner with them, my father says, you never talked much as a kid. I was listening, I reply. He nods. That's not weakness. I feel something loosen. Mark corners me later. You avoided feelings your whole life, he says. I managed them, I reply. No, he says. You buried them. I'm learning, I say. How? He asks. By speaking before I explode, I reply. He smiles. Good. Sarah texts. She's struggling. I'm not her solution, I reply. She's broke, Sarah adds. That's life, I say. At therapy, Helen asks, what changed? I stopped reacting, I reply. And started, she asks. Choosing, I say. Emily calls. I let it ring. She texts. Please meet me. I type. No. She sends another. I need you. I whisper. You need yourself. Mark says, That was hard. Yes, I reply. Worth it? He asks. Yes, I say. I stand taller now. I speak clearly. I don't rush words or swallow them. When someone asks how I am, I answer honestly. I'm healing, I say. Emily leaves a voicemail. I made mistakes, she says. I delete it. At dinner alone, I say, I choose me. The man I became didn't arrive loudly. He arrived steady, calm, and finally heard. I met Emily outside the cafe she once said felt safe to her. She stood when she saw me, and her face folded. Thank you for coming, she said. I nodded once. Say what you need, I replied. She sat back down, hands shaking. I was wrong, she said. I blamed you because it was easier than facing myself. I stayed silent. You were steady, she continued. I called it boring because I was restless inside. I didn't interrupt. Her eyes filled. Daniel never loved me, she said. He loved attention. He loved feeling wanted. I watched her breathe through it. He never stayed, she added. He never planned to. I folded my hands. I know, I said. She looked up sharply. You do. Yes, I replied. I saw it before you did. Her voice broke. I destroyed us, she said. You showed up every day. You were loyal even when it was hard. She wiped her face. I wanted fireworks. You gave me shelter. Shelter matters, I said. I see that now, she whispered. I see you now. I listened. I didn't rush her. I didn't save her. My chest ached, but I stayed still. I thought you didn't feel, she said. But you felt deeper than anyone I've known. She laughed weakly. I was impatient. I was selfish. I nodded once. I miss you, she said softly. I know, I replied. She swallowed. Can we try again? I took a breath. Love without respect destroys slowly, I said. We were already breaking before you left. She cried harder. I'm sorry, she said. I believe you, I replied. Then why won't you stay? She asked. Because understanding came too late, I said. I can't rebuild on regret. She reached for my hand. I stood instead. This isn't punishment, I said. This is closure. She shook her head. I don't want closure. I need it, I replied. Her voice cracked. You were real, she said. I was blind. I nodded. Goodbye, Emily, I said. I walked away without turning back. My chest burned, but my step stayed steady. I felt everything, and I kept moving. That was how I knew I had finally been heard. The silence after everything felt heavier than the noise before it. I sat alone and said, this is it. No applause. No relief. Just quiet. Mark called. You okay? He asked. I'm calm, I replied. That's new, he said. It's earned, I said. Sarah texted later. He's gone. Daniel? I asked. Yes, she replied. He disappeared. New city. New girl. I stared at the message. I didn't need that, I said aloud. Sarah sent another. People stopped calling her. That happens, I typed. She's alone, she added. So was I replied. I didn't smile. I didn't feel proud. I just felt finished. At therapy, Helen asked, what do you want now? Nothing from them, I said. And from yourself? She asked. Forgiveness, I replied. She nodded. That's the hardest one. That night I wrote a letter. Emily, I began. My hand shook. I loved you quietly. I paused. I trusted you fully. I stopped again. I forgive you. I read it once. I folded it. I didn't send it. I put it in a drawer. You don't need to read this, I said. Mark stopped by with coffee. You look lighter, he said. I let go, I replied. Of her? He asked. Of blame, I said. He nodded. That's real growth. I walked past places we used to go. You don't hurt me anymore, I said. The words surprised me. Sarah called once more. She asks about you, she said. I hope she finds peace, I replied. You're kind, Sarah said. I'm done being angry, I replied. At home, I sat in the quiet. You didn't need revenge, I told myself. Karma moved without you. I remembered Daniel's empty eyes. He never mattered, I said. I looked at my hands. You held on long enough, I whispered. Helen's voice echoed. Growth is quiet. I hear it now, I said. I burned the letter in the sink. The paper curled. The words vanished. That's enough, I said. I forgave myself for staying silent too long. I forgave myself for believing endurance was love. I forgave myself for not knowing better. I stood and breathed. This is my victory, I said. Not her regret. Not his loss. The silence stayed. It felt clean. I turned off the light and said, I'm free. I sit by the window and say, you survived. The words don't shake. They settle. I remember who I was and who I am now. Mark calls. End of the story, he asks. Beginning, I reply. He chuckles. You finally sound sure. I am, I say. I think about the man Emily left. He wasn't weak, I tell myself. He was quiet. I think about the man standing here now. He speaks. I visit my parents again. My mother asks, are you lonely? No, I say. I'm open. My father nods. That's stronger. At work, Mark says, you ever think about dating again? Someday, I reply. Not out of fear. That's new, he says. I don't need to be chosen, I say. I choose. I walk home and talk to myself. You made mistakes, I say. You hid. You waited too long. I pause. But you loved honestly. I remember Emily's words. You're emotionless. I shake my head. I felt everything, I say. I just didn't shout. Helen once asked, what do you want love to feel like? I answer now. Safe and seen. I sit in silence and don't fear it anymore. Silence isn't absence, I say. It's space. Sarah sends a final message. She moved on, she writes. I hope she heals, I reply. I don't feel pulled. I don't feel bitter. I feel complete. I stand in front of the mirror. You're not broken, I say. You were unrecognized. My eyes don't look tired anymore. I imagine future love. I say, I won't beg. I say, I won't disappear. I say, I will speak. Mark texts again. Proud of you. Me too, I reply. I think about Daniel and feel nothing. That's freedom, I say. I breathe deeply. Some people don't destroy you, I whisper. They reveal you. I turn off the light and smile. The quiet stays. It feels earned.